everyone, and welcome, welcome, welcome. You have found us here in the back room, and I am so pleased to see you. I'm Hank Philippi Ryan, USA Today bestselling author of coming up to 14 novels of suspense, and I'm here tonight with my wonderful co-host, Karen Dion, and we are so thrilled that you are all here this evening to share these four wonderful authors with you. And let me welcome them to you right now, and let me read you quick bios of who we have here tonight. And then I promise I'll stop talking. Tonight, our first guest is Katie Gutierrez. Katie is the debut author of the literary suspense novel More Than You'll Ever Know, about a woman caught leading a double life after one husband murders the other, and the true crime writer who becomes obsessed with her story. Katie has an MFA from Texas State University, and her writing has appeared in Harper's Bazaar, The Washington Post, and more. She was born and raised in Laredo, Texas, and now lives in San Antonio with her husband and their two children. More Than You'll Ever Know is the Good Morning America pick for June, which must have been a nice phone call to get. So we will ask her. Was it, Katie? Was that pretty fun?
Yeah. Yeah, it was. It was a secret I've been keeping for, I guess, about 5, almost 6 months. But that was a phone call I will remember for the rest of my life.
That's great. We can't wait to hear more about that. You all ask Katie about that when you're in her breakout room. From a debut author to William Martin, our second author tonight, is the New York Times bestselling author of 12 novels, a PBS documentary, book reviews, magazine articles, and a cult classic horror movie too. Riley Sager, did you know about this?
Did not. No.
Okay, so you'll have to talk about that. Across a career now in its 5th decade, Bill Martin has been hailed as a master storyteller and the king of the historical thriller. His work has also earned numerous awards, including the New England Book Award. His newest book is out like this week, last week, yesterday? This week, December 41. He lives near Boston with his wife and has 3 grown children. Welcome, Bill. You had a party today.
Yes, I did.
Your book. So
you were there?
I was indeed.
Yep.
And so this is a movable feast for December 41. Our next guest, Hannah Mary McKinnon. Hey, Hannah. Was born in the UK, grew up in Switzerland, and moved to Canada in 2010. After a successful career in IT recruitment, she quit the corporate world in favor of writing. While her debut, Time After Time, was a rom-com, she transitioned to the dark side, really dark, thereafter. Her suspense novels include The Neighbors and bestsellers Her Secret Son, Sister Dear, You Will Remember Me, and the brand new fantastic bestseller, Never Coming Home. Hannah Mary lives in Oakville, Ontario with her husband and 3 teenage sons, and you know her from being the founder of First Chapter Fun, which she and I bring you a first chapter of a wonderful new book every Tuesday and Thursday at 12:30 p.m. ET. You know this. Welcome, Hannah. Fun to see you on not a Tuesday or Thursday.
I know. It's great. I'm so pleased to be here. Thank you.
And we promise we won't ask you to read the first chapter of any book out there. Our fourth author tonight is the fantastic, brilliant Riley Sager. Riley is the New York Times bestselling author of 6 novels, most recently Home Before Dark and Survive the Night, which he knows I think is absolutely a genius novel, Survive the Night. His first novel, Final Girls, has been published in 30 countries and won the ITW Thriller Award for Best Hardcover Novel. His latest book, The House Across the Lake, will be published June 21st, so you will hear about that here first, by Dutton Books. He's a native of Pennsylvania and now lives in Princeton, New Jersey. And we will start now, as always, with the 20 questions. And I'm going to ask you the questions in just the order I see you on the screen. So that means, Bill Martin, you are first.
Okay.
And my question for you is, are you a good cook?
Yes. I am a good cook. Even though my wife cooked everything for this party you were just at, I'm pretty good with bolognese and with chicken piccata, various grilled fishes. At Christmas, I make short ribs braised in red wine, which is actually pretty easy. Just turn the short ribs over a few times in the pan, throw them into a big pot, throw a quart of wine in on top of that, and throw it in the oven for a few hours. But I consider myself a good, but only occasional cook.
Are you an experimental cook, or do you follow recipes?
I follow recipes, but my wife doesn't. And if I have everything lined up, my son, who loves to cook, he loves the term mise en place, the French term of putting everything in place. I have it all lined up, and my wife will come by and say, "Oh, put that in," and she'll start throwing things in, and I'll say, "Okay, this is why we don't cook together. We've been married for almost 50 years, but this is why we don't cook together."
She's a sort of mise out of place at that point.
Yes, yes.
Riley, oh my God, this is a hard question for you, and
Oh.
I'm not sure you'll be able to answer this, so I'm going to modify it. It says I'm supposed to ask you what's your favorite movie, but that would be impossible.
No, I can pick.
Okay, you can pick. Good.
I will. Well, I'll pick 3.
See,
So that's okay. So Rear Window, Jaws, Mary Poppins,
Good choices.
and The Sound of Music. So 4. I picked 4.
we'll just sit here and wait for you to come up with
I need to elaborate now.
yeah,
I mean,
a little bit.
well, I mean, Jaws and Rear Window are just perfect. Like there's like not a wrong minute in any of those movies. Like they are just perfect. And Mary Poppins, it's a very personal thing. Like I am a big Disney nerd. Like you guys can't see like my whole entire office, but like on the wall right there is an autograph of Walt Disney that I bought myself when Final Girls hit the bestseller list. It was like my gift to myself for like accomplishing this thing I never thought I'd accomplish.
Aw.
But so yeah, Mary Poppins, it was like, I remember the first time I saw it, it was on TV, and my parents let my sister and I stay up really, really late on a school night. We got to stay up until like 11:30 to watch this movie. And it just sucked me in. It was magical. And I love that movie forever.
That is such a lovely story, and now I'm singing, so I'm just going to go on to Katie. But that's an interesting thing to know, Riley. So you said Jaws, Mary Poppins, Rear Window, and
Sound of Music.
Sound of Music. Okay. We'll talk later.
In the breakout room, we'll talk. Yeah.
Yeah. Katie, what is your favorite dessert?
Ooh, favorite dessert. Probably apple pie. And it's something that I'm here at my parents' house in Laredo, and it's something my mom gets every time I come down, because I'm not a huge dessert person in general, but apple pie, I can sit there and eat the entire pie, specifically the apple pie from HEB, which is this, the Texas grocery store. And I think that the thing about it is that it's just so full of apples, so cinnamony. So I think the proportion to, the apple to the dough is very important in my apple pie consumption. But yeah, I just had a big slice just before this. So that's very top of mind for me.
Oh, it's so full of apples. That's a good.
It
is. They should put that on the pie.
That's my blurb for this apple pie. Yeah.
Delicious. Hannah, what is your favorite place to write?
Probably where I am right now. So I'm in the spare room / office, second office, because Rob and I, my husband and I, share an office downstairs. But that's more the editing room, which I love too. That's fine. But up here, with my laptop and a crappy internet connection, when I leave my phone downstairs, this is really the creative room. So this is where I get to get the story out, and then downstairs I'll chop and change and edit, or in front of the fireplace once I'm almost done, and I pop the manuscript on my Kindle, and I have my laptop next to me, and I read it on my Kindle, and then edit on the laptop. And generally that would happen in the cooler months or colder months, so I'd have the fire on, and I'm almost done at that point. So that's a good point too.
Well, it depends on where you are in the writing.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, it does. Yes, I move around depending on what I'm doing.
That's great. So speaking of very kind, we have asked all of you, in order to assist Karen and to assist me in making your to be read stacks grow and grow and grow, to recommend a book that you love that you think everybody should know about. And we've asked you to quickly hold up that book if you have it. If you don't, we have a graphic of it. Tell us a little bit what the book is briefly and why you picked it. So let's start with you.
Cara Black,
Yeah.
3 Hours in Paris, a World War II thriller about an assassination. And since I'm writing a World War II thriller about an assassination, I am inclined toward reading such books. And this one is pretty exciting, about a very strong female character, relentless, resourceful, and all of her relentlessness and resourcefulness get called upon in this book because on the very first page, she puts a rifle scope to her eyes and takes a shot at Hitler on the day that he visits Paris. Complications ensue, and it's a terrific thriller.
That's great. She's been in the back room. You all know what Cara Black was quite wonderful talking about this book as well. So
it's Hitchcockian, and
absolutely.
And by the way, Riley, I was just looking a moment ago when you mentioned the Disney autograph. I have an autograph somewhere in my bookcase over here that Alfred Hitchcock gave to me the one time I met him.
Wow.
That's pretty cool.
We'll have to put you two in the breakout room together.
I'm in awe right now. That's crazy.
Yeah.
I want to hear about Alfred Hitchcock. Totally so. Riley, what's your book choice?
My book is Hidden Pictures by Jason Rekulak. And it is about a recovering drug addict who gets a job as a nanny for this upscale family in South New Jersey. And she likes the job. The kid is very nice, except he draws pictures of his imaginary friend who is scary. And it's actually doesn't quite, it's actually very heartwarming. Like she's trying to like help the child and survive, and she's like not terrified of the child. She wants to help the child, and it just leads to these very unexpected places. And I mean, I just have to show, like, there are illustrations. You probably can't see them, but like, there's like the kids' drawings, like just fill the book, and some of them are charming and adorable, and some of them are just outright unnerving. So I highly recommend the book.
That sounds great. That sounds wonderful. I've heard a lot about this book. Katie, what book are you recommending?
I'm recommending The Searcher. I don't have it with me, but The Searcher by Tana French. And I'm sure a lot of people here have read Tana French, but I still remember when my sister-in-law brought her up to me, and I hadn't read a single one of her books. This was years back. And it was just such a joy to read her first one and kind of work through all of her books from there. But I loved The Searcher because it was such a departure from her previous books. And it's a much slower book than her previous ones. And it's not procedural at all. And it's much more focused on the relationship between Cal and this boy. And it becomes about sort of found family, but the sense of place in this book is so transporting.
Hannah, what book would you suggest?
I picked this one, Things We Do in the Dark. I'm going to try and show that, by Jennifer Hillier, which publishes in July. And Jenny is the reason why I moved over to the dark side. Not entirely, but she's part of the reason why. And I love her stuff. And I discovered her books before we met, before I knew she was moving back to the same town where we both live now. And this book it's just brilliant. Paris is that. I'm going to try and do this without any spoilers.
Yeah.
So Paris is the main character. She's married to her celebrity husband, who's a bit older than her. And one morning she wakes up lying on the bathroom floor, covered in blood, next to her husband's body. And she doesn't remember anything. And she has her own demons from elsewhere that are on their way to basically claw their way back to the surface. So it's just a thrilling, brilliant read where you're not sure how things are going to come together, but you know they will, and you expect them to, and with a brilliant ending. I thoroughly enjoyed it, as with all Jenny's books. So
I agree. Wasn't that fun? We hope you enjoyed that taste of what a backroom session is like. But more fun comes immediately afterward. That's when the audience is broken up into 4 breakout rooms, and each author in turn visits each room. We'd love to show you what a breakout session is like, because those relaxed face-to-face conversations between best-selling authors and readers are the hallmark of backroom events. But breakout sessions are never recorded, because what's said in the back room stays in the back room.